Hey everybody, this is Brett, and I was just watching this video and I put the link in the description box below, and it's entitled "This Video Will Make You Sick." And it really kind of does. The first third of it, roughly, it looks like this. Here's the guy that made it. His name is Darius M. And the first third of the video is these before and after pictures of these women with and without makeup. And it's really insane. I mean, some women, there's all these varying degrees of how much makeup women wear and, how much they're covering up. These are some really extreme examples that really will make you sick because they look like just hell. They look like hell with no makeup on, and then they doll themselves up and they look pretty good. And there's pros and cons to this, but really, I mean, I tell people to just be who you are. And you've got to think that it's really, I don't know, I guess if people need the crutches, then they need the crutches. I need glasses to be able to drive. But that's not really something that, there's no choice for me with that. And I think that I know that women are really addicted to makeup. And it's kind of bad. It's really bad. If if a person thinks that they look better, if they're kind of lying to themselves and they think that they look better than they really are because they're just fooling themselves, then I think that they're not really doing the work like I tell you to do. Like if you want to look good and if you want to be healthy, you really have to work hard. And there aren't any quick fixes to that, you know? And and so, you know, this in this video, this Darius, he talks about how women have the advantage, but it's an artificial advantage over us. And it really gives us guys the opportunity to look at the truth for the way it is. And that truth is that we need to just, not fall for their synthetic look, you know? And and also there are so many other potential disadvantages for women as well as us for not being real. I mean, a woman, you don't necessarily want to get married. You don't necessarily want to have babies. You may think that you want those things, but really, it's not all that it's made up to be like society says that they are, you know? And my parents, another thing my parents told me that I really needed a college education. And looking back, I was totally right in my decision to not go to college. I ended up going to massage school at age 37, and that was a great decision. I didn't really want to borrow the money. I did get a good Pell Grant, which is lucky for me and good. But it's really good to wait and make decisions. That's another thing that's so important. I mean, there's just so many things in our society that people are coerced into doing. And I just don't buy into it. I never have. They're quick fixes. There's so many things that people think that they can get away with if they cut corners. And it's just a bunch of bull. And on that note, on an opposite note, I would like to say that today I've been feeling a bit of remorse for having been so hard on people. I'm not going to back off too much, though, I'll tell you, because I feel that for the most part, the things that I've said in my videos, live videos and regular videos are pretty accurate. It's just that mm, the situation that we're in right now, I really, even though it's so hard, even for me, and for me knowing, even though I know how beneficial and how required all of this is for humanity to survive and for people just to get their acts together. Even though I know all that, I can still feel somewhat guilty about being so right wing, like conservative. So, like, I'm a health conservative, but not a lot, not really guilty because when I'm feeling good, okay, so when I'm feeling really good, then I feel confident and I feel that my words and my actions and my attitude are justified. But when I don't feel so good, like if I'm feeling like really sick, like I felt a little bit sick today and I knew I needed to do an enema, so I went and did one. And then after I do an enema, I'm always like pretty much needing to lay down for a couple of hours. Not always, but today definitely. And so I felt kind of nauseous and tired and like weak and stuff. And that's how it is when you're getting all of these toxins out of your body and you wash out your large intestine and you get all of that muck out. I mean, there's never been a time that I didn't feel like that I felt like I didn't really need that to do an enema. If I know you guys have heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again. If you ever feel sick, if you feel tired, if you feel weak, if you do an enema, soon thereafter you'll feel better. You may feel really sick for a few hours or even maybe even a half a day after you did one, but when you when you do one, you just know you're getting out a lot of crap, especially if you've been feeling sick lately, bad gas, etc. But um, it's so important to be genuine. And watch that video in the description box below. He's obviously got some anger issues and feels like he's being hmm, unfairly treated by the opposite sex. And it's true. It is like if I were to look at me, look, this face is a real face with all of its imperfections and all of its funniness and anger or whatever it may be. This is a real face that you get to see. I'm not hiding anything. If I wanted to, I could take some makeup and put it right on this little spot. See that? See that little spot right there? There's a little red spot right there. It's some kind of a skin something. And the only way that spot is going to go away, along with, like, I have another one right there. See that? And then my lip thing, you know, and just some wrinkles. There's some wrinkles there. See my wrinkles? And look at that. Look at those teeth missing. You're looking at somebody that's been through hell. Okay. I've been through the freaking ringer with my health. And the longer I've dealt with it, and the more I get over my various troubles, like I used to have the worst acid indigestion. And before I learned about natural health, I was taking Tums and I went to the doctor and got on Pepcid, AC, and all kinds of BS quick fix things. And then I took on natural healing and I knew it was right. I knew it from the very start. From even when I started just learning. And I was thinking to myself, man, you get down on people for not having the gumption, the ability, the desire to live, to get healthy, this and that. But if I look at it in the opposite respect, I should be so freaking proud of me for having the opposites of all of those things. For me for being so amazing to have gotten through all of the hell that I've been through. And there was a time when I had to do enemas every day. I was so sick just to get through massage school. That was 17 years ago, 18 years ago. And it takes so much time to get toxic smog and mucoid plaque and parasites and stuff out of your body. And so my diet today is so much better than it used to be. But it's not even close to being where I want it to be. Not even close. But I really, really do my best to keep it real. And I have Mars in Libra, and that looks at opposite sides. And so you can expect my male aspect, Mars, the male energy of who I am, to give you contrasting and equal and honest evaluations of different things. And I think that when women start to get to this point of where they realize that it's better to be just natural, that they don't need to have somebody else supporting them. They don't need to have a baby and stay home, and so therefore they need somebody else to support them. Things like that. They can be their own person and have their own life. And see, that is what is happening. See, men are becoming more feminine and women are becoming more masculine. And we're coming together. We're coming together. Now, we have times when we're moving apart. And like when the Me Too movement came along a couple of years ago, women basically just said, F you, man, you know, da, 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 da. See, it wasn't just women. It wasn't just a matter of the women that were raped, etc. It was also a matter of anger towards men for this and that, you know. But men have anger towards women for things. And if you watch that video in the description box down below, you will see a dude, a black guy, that is just pissed off about how women have this advantage of being able to wear makeup. Now, if you look at the reality of that is that eventually men will start to wear makeup, just like actors on television or in theater. And we'll be like, hey, yeah, I can cover that little spot up right there. I can cover up my wrinkles. Maybe I could put eyelashes, maybe not. Maybe I can make my lips all perfect, etc. And I can put a perfect line all the way around my lips. And I could change the shade of my face. I mean, so as an example of how I've noticed how much better I can look with some color, when I go out and get some sun, and I do that a lot. I mean, even in the winter time when it's sunny, I'll go sit in the sun and I'll go look at myself in the mirror and I'll be like, man, I look pretty good today. I got some redness, some red in my face, you know, and you'll look more attractive with some color in your face. And and to stem off of that just a little bit, you'll see that people that don't eat fruits and vegetables, their skin, especially if they eat a lot of dairy, okay, their skin looks like this very pale, whitish, cheesy color. And you can't see a lot of color in my face right now, but like because of the lighting, you know. But if you were to look at me in natural light versus the average person, you'd see that my arms and my skin and my chest, my belly and all of this. It all has like a nice peach color, you know? And I didn't always have that. And so this is why I say, that, keep working on eating more and more fruits and vegetables and less of the other things because it'll make you more naturally attractive. And, I'll get rid of these. I'll get rid of these little lines, yeah, little lines. So when you're in pain, because see, when you do a lot of cleansing and healing, you'll go through these cycles like I've told you before. And when you're at the bottom of a cycle and you're in a lot of pain, you'll have anger coming out of you. And you'll have a lot of tension. Imagine all the tension that's gone down in people's minds, while they're sleeping too. I've noticed I've been having all of these dreams. It's like I'm purging. I'm just purging for myself and probably for the world, just crap going through my dreams and out to the universe. But you'll notice that when you're on the bottom of your cycles of cleansing and healing, that you're not feeling good and you're in this state of tension. When you're in a state of tension, what does your face look like? You're all scrunched up. Your eyes are all scrunched up. Like, look at that. I can make them wrinkly. But when you're not, when you're on the top of your cycles and you're feeling good, even when you're out in the sun, I mean, this is why it's not good to wear sunglasses because you want your eyes to get used to the sun. You want them to be used to a lot of light. People didn't evolve with sunglasses on. People use sunglasses as another quick fix, another crutch, you know? And so oftentimes when I'm out walking, I'll try and open my eyes like this because I know if I'm squinting, I'm just increasing all of those wrinkles and I'm not getting good sunlight into my eyes. And the sunlight is important for your eyes. And I've got a book on doing eye exercises, and it doesn't talk about sun gazing, but sun gazing is one of the things that sometimes I'll do when the sun is going down or when the sun is coming up, usually when it's going down. But you let the sun get just to where it's just about to go down and you look at it. And it's really intense. It's really intense. But the thing with wrinkles and with your face and your muscles in your face and all of that is that the more you get through your cycles and the less tension that you have on your body, the less you're going to be squinting and tightening up those muscles in your face, in your arms, in your legs, in your abs, everywhere. And you'll go through these times like right now, I just cannot get my arms to loosen up. This is as much as I can, even with all of the massage. Yesterday, I massaged them twice. And last night, I did some deep, like seriously deep massage on my arms last night using my elbows. Using my ulnar bone. This is your ulnar bone. Feel that. That's your ulnar bone. And you can use that as a tool, as a weapon to massage other people or to massage your own body, as I've shown you. But I got like, what do they call it? I got jiggy. Because I like that. I've always liked that when from Will Smith. I got jiggy with it and just dug that out. I just dug that deep because I could feel there was a knot right in there. And so I just got jiggy with it last night, but I wake up in the morning and it's just all tight again. So what this is a place in my body, and so you should know this. It's a place in my body because you'll need to remember, especially as you get older, that it's a place in my body that just wants to keep tightening up. And it's probably almost certainly because there's parts in that area of the body that are releasing toxins and your body is regulating. those muscles to release those toxins at a pace that it can handle. So you have to really listen to your body. And after you've been going through these cycles and analyzing them, as I've been doing for a long time, and bear in mind, once again, my moon is in Virgo. Virgo is the sign that analyzes the out of everything. And people oftentimes don't like people that are Virgos. Thank you, Ian. I'm sorry. I get into talking and I forget to look at the chat box. But people sometimes don't like Virgo people because they nitpick them. They talk about or they analyze them and then they scrutinize them, and people don't like to be judged. And so people oftentimes don't like Virgo-ish people. If you've got a lot of Virgo energy, you know what I'm talking about. And you're really organized. Like you have every little thing in its place. You've got your essential oils down there. Every little one is in its place. And those of you that are just really nuts about it, you've got them organized in alphabetical order. This house with Blovid, I'm telling you, with Blovid going on for the last couple of years, I have really organized things seriously, seriously, and I don't think I've seen the end of it. But what was I even talking about? Should I get so far out on a limb? But okay, so your muscles tighten up in certain areas, and you'll find that is the case when you're going through your cleansing and healing cycles. And you just have to roll with it, and it's an educational time. It's really important. All of this kind of stuff, it's really important for you to realize that the benefits, and that, you know, even though it's painful, even though you're going through all of this stuff, if you hang on and you learn about and you listen to your body and you take care of it, you see, it forces you to take care of it. It's not something that you can put off anymore. Your body is like in pain, and you have a choice. You can either run to the Tylenol and destroy your liver, or you can take care of it naturally with an ice pad in the fridge, or um, herbs, or self massage, or breathing, or something to that effect. There's all these tools that you build, and your life, this life that you've been given is forcing you to learn about all of these different natural tools. Prayer to whatever you decide that you have decided that is your God, whatever, Jesus, Krishna, whatever. And and so that's really important, but the body work is really important. The diet is really important. The breathing is so hugely important. All of these things, and you have to be able to immediately dig into your bag of tools and get out what you need and not make mistakes. And so um, getting to this place, I'm going back to the theme now of this live video. And the theme of this video is to be natural and to be honest with yourself. And if you're a woman that's watching this video right now and you're someone that wears makeup, you're not really being honest to yourself. If you're somebody that wears it occasionally, that's probably fine, and especially if it's natural makeup. But if you're constantly this facade, if you're constantly portraying this facade of a person that looks like an 8, pardon my comparison 1 to 10 thing. Remember the movie 10 with Bo Derek? For those of you that are old enough, check that out. You can probably watch it now on YouTube for free. So that's just another example of another thing that's taking up people's watch times now on YouTube. They have movies, as you can see, as you've seen, for free. But those movies aren't as good as me. Some of them are. But if you're constantly portraying this thing that's not you, like say you're a woman and you're something that guys would rate or women would rate, people would rate as you're a 6. Your attractiveness is a 6. But if you put on makeup, you're an 8 now. If you're really good at putting on makeup, you're a 9. And you've got some fake boobies too. You've got all kinds of fake things, eyelashes, boobs. You wear high heels. All of these things are not just projecting that for which is not really you, but many of them can be bad for you, for your health. High heels are horrible for your posture, for your knees, for your leg musculature. It's creating an imbalanced leg musculature. So now, for me, now that I've learned how to make natural shoes that are durable, the ones that you've seen with the natural latex sole, I really avoid my Tevas or my Merrell hiking boots. I really, really avoid them because I'm always now trying to walk with just flat feet. Okay, so and on that note, something that's probably really, most of you, if not all of you, don't have an ability to just go out and to go in your shop or whatever and make you some shoes. Pretty soon, you'll probably be able to buy some from me. But there are some shoes that I used to wear when I was a kid that I think have relatively flat soles. Remember Keds? You know those Keds? Somebody put in a comment if you remember Keds shoes. So I'll see if I can find a picture of it. I can put a picture in this, can't I? Can I put a picture? Shit, I can't put a picture in this. You'll have to look them up. But they have laces from almost the toes all the way up to the top of your stomach 3 point. Like you guys know acupressure. But all the way to they go the laces go all the way from about there all the way to there, and I think they have pretty flat soles. And also, like, I used to be able, when I was a kid and I was a skateboarder, I would wear these what are they called, those they had checkered ones. They were really cool, and they still have them, but different companies make them. You guys remember what I'm talking about? Anyway, see if you can find flat shoes because those will enable you, like, it may be weird for you to walk in them for a while because you're just not used to it because people are used to walking like on a slant, on an angle. And it's weird that our society is going too fast and they've created shoes that make people go too fast. Because when your heels are lifted up, it makes you want to go forward more because you're like leaned forward. But really, it just messes up your posture. It really messes up your knees. Yeah, kids. Hey, Joe. But I think that, it's not just your knees. It's going to be your hips. It's going to be your back because high heels make your butt stick out. That's not good. Not good. The more high your heels are, and see, that's another thing with women. That's what they want. It's all over accentuated, I think is the word for it. It's all mm, over something. It's too much because it makes the woman look sexier, sort of. If you're a naturalist, it makes women look weird to us. It's still sexy, but it's like artificially sexy, and it gives us an unattractive thing. It's a weird thing. It's like feeling breasts, and I have felt those that are fake. They, it's not good. It's a turnoff. It's a schlong dropper. Really, for me. And I like women that are naturally hairy, you know. And and so anything that you do that is artificially making you look better for the moment, in the moment, is a long-term bad thing. And this is exactly what I'm talking about with like getting the you know what. Okay, so I wrote a little post the other day that I would like to read to you about that, and I'll see if I can find it real quick here. What did I do with that? So you guys, how are you guys doing in the new year? Is all well? Okay. So this is an article entitled "The Price to be Paid." They say that if you got the you know what, you are less likely to get very sick from the you know what. So then my thoughts are, what about the long-term consequences of this quick fix? What is the price to be paid? Because there's a price to pay for every quick fix. Unless it's natural, I mean, there can be some, but for the most part, quick fixes have a price to be paid. Also, why do I have to use these secret terms like these just to get around the Facebook search bots? You know, whenever you have to like be underground and talk in secretive voices, why is it that you have to do that? What is wrong with society that we can't just be open and honest and talk about everything that we're thinking, you know, especially if we're not being unreasonable and we're just, saying the things that we're thinking. The reason I ask these questions and think this way is because I have learned that there are no free lunches in this world. I have also learned that every man-made drug has side effects or long-term health implications. In addition to all of that, it seems to me that doctors and drug companies are always interested in selling whatever makes them the most money. Doesn't it seem like that to you? That they're always just trying to sell whatever is making them the most money? And in some cases, they're just trying to give people a prescription and get them out of their offices because they're sick of them and they need to get on to their next appointment. No, I wouldn't consider this to be a negative frame of mind on my end. It's just an attitude based on what I've seen so far in this world. Yes, I honestly think that most doctors are mostly in it for the money. And I'm not saying that all of them are. I said that I think that most of them are. I also think that most people are willing to buy into health insurance because they don't want to do the work of real healing. And maybe because they're pressured. Remember when Obamacare came along and people were getting more and more pressured to get health insurance? Sure, most people have not learned how to do the work, but it's not as though they don't have the resources available to them. It's not like they don't know about organic, holistic, and natural things, etc. They've seen all kinds of natural health related things and ads, etc. by now, right? There are countless health books and online articles on anything that you need to know. And when I started this journey in 1991 or so, 92, there wasn't any internet for you young people. Okay, so there wasn't any internet, nada. As far as I didn't have any. They may have just been inventing it or something, probably. So I believe in God per se, but I also believe in evolution. Human bodies have naturally evolved for millions of years on sunshine, natural foods, and many other natural things. When modern science tries to create shortcuts to satisfy people's demands to heal now or to protect themselves from something that just came onto the scene and they're all worried about this and that, This expediency creates problems and eventually backfires in the faces of those that created and or bought into the stupidity and greediness of it all. Does that make sense? And right now, my very good friend Carla in New York, she got the first dose of the you know what, and she experienced bad side effects from it. And so she didn't get any more. Guess what? Right now, it's her ninth day. I was just talking to her on Facebook on the Messenger. She's on into her ninth day and having horrible breathing problems. And she just got an Epsom salt bath a little while ago and she's feeling a little bit better. But I'm concerned about her because I know about these things. And one of my worst fears with this whole thing is that people got this quick fix, these quick fixes. It's very, it's very potentially troublesome. It could be there. People could have a lot of who knows what kind of troubles from these things because every single drug commercial that we've ever seen always has these stipulations, these side effects listed in fast speed at the end of the commercial. They cause bleeding out of your nose, all kinds of things, right? High blood pressure and heart palpitations, etc. And so we've seen all of this, but we've seen the short term. A lot of people have experienced a lot of short term side effects from these things. And that's why I think, like my friend Carla, a lot of them didn't decided to not get a second dose or a booster. And if you look at how many people, the statistics about how many people have gotten the you know what, and then how many people are fully you know whatted and how many are not, there's a difference there but of about 15%. Why didn't those 15% get more? There's a reason, my friends, because they experienced problems. So those were immediate problems. What about long-term ones? Okay, so yeah, that's what I think and certainly hope. I certainly hope that this post does not get removed because there's absolutely nothing inappropriate about it. Same with this video. I'm just stating an opinion and stating you truths and thoughts and feelings, etc. So it's really horrible that videos get taken down, that we are scrutinized like this just for stating what we think. You know, it's like we've lost, it's a loss of freedom of speech. And let's see. Vans or Converse? You know, and yeah, Vans is what I was trying to think about. I used to like those black and white checker stripe Vans, you know. They seem to be really good for skateboarding. And that's kind of an indicator too, Tony, because if people are wanting to wear really flat shoes for skateboarding, well, that makes sense, right? Because skateboarding is something that you want to be flat-footed on. You want a natural you want a natural feel on the top of the board, right? You don't want to be on, last thing you want is high heels on a skateboard, and so the skateboarders wear flat shoes. But yeah, any shoe width that's flat like that is going to be your best bet. And you'll see that your calves, people that wear high heels, it's easy to see women that wear high heels a lot. They'll have gastrocnemiuses that stick out a lot more than their soleuses. And let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so this is your gastrocnemius, and these are your soleus muscles, and they're interconnected, but they're separate. And people that wear high heels a lot, they won't have any definition in their soleus muscles, but they'll have gastrocnemius muscles that stick out like sore thumbs. Women that wear high heels a lot. But people that are hikers and people that wear relatively flat shoes, they'll have a nice even musculature in there, especially their lower leg muscles. And it shows other things show, like your butt sticking out. That shows high heels, people wearing high heels. But let's see what else. Joe says, walking with flat feet is healthy, bro. Yes. And to think that the pediatrician who we consulted with when I was a kid gave me a prescription for an arch orthotics. Now that's different, Joe. Orthotics are not high heels. Orthotics, like I sell orthotics. Orthotics lift your arch up, not your heel. The orthotics that I sell, you put as much millet holes in the pouch as you need to get arch support, not to lift your heel. So Meatwad says, hey man, love your videos. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks. DMV blowing. DMV blowing. When I lived in California, one of the most blowing things there was the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. It's also known as the department, what else do they call it? There's a different abbreviation for it. Department of Motor. Anyways, yeah, the lines in California. Oh my God. I'll bet they are really, really grateful for online registration now. But of course, still, you have to go, and if you have to do a driver's test every whatever, or if you got to get a new picture or something like that, or whatever, then you still have to go to the DMV. And one of the worst things about living in Southern California, or probably Northern California, is the Department of Motor Vehicles. But maybe it's probably a lot better now that there's online, you know. But yeah, if you just join me in the description box below, there's a video of this guy that shows contrasts of women wearing and not wearing makeup. And one of them is just towards the end is absolutely insane. This woman, she looks good. She looks like a 9, right? And then she starts taking off the makeup, and she wipes it here and she wipes it there, and she pulls off the fake eyelashes, and then she wipes up here, and then she takes out her lower fake teeth. At the end, she takes out her uppers, and her whole mouth collapses, and she looks like an old, old woman. So the more teeth you lose, the more structure you lose in your musculature. And that's why when you see people that don't have any teeth, they look like this. You know, like look at all that. There's 2 lost back there. There's 1 lost there. There's 2 lost there. Yeah, 2 lost there. So I think I've lost about 5 teeth, and then I've got a couple of crowns that they've just fallen off. So for me, what I'm doing is I'm just like, as long as I'm doing okay with my teeth and they're not in pain, I'm just not going to the dentist. I just deal with it and chew the best I can. And nice job. Chest massage is good. I was telling this woman a little while ago, or today, when I was doing phone soliciting. Today I was doing phone soliciting because business is always dead this time of the year. It's a really good time to get a fast order if you want to order something from me. I can generally stuff send unless it's something that I don't have in stock, and most of it I do. I can send stuff out really fast right now if you're interested. Oh, and I do have a 10% off coupon if you'd like to take advantage of that. I don't have it in my head right now, but if you email me, I'll send it to you. But I was telling her about how these soother massage tools are really good for massaging in between the ribs. Now, see that ball? That ball fits and slides in between your ribs really well. So, so there's in between ribs right there. And you can just take that and you can do it with clothes or with no clothes. If you do it with no clothes, then you need to put a little bit of oil on that skin because it doesn't slide very good. But if you take that ball, like look how good I can hold that. That's seriously strong. Even a grandma can hold that, like an old granny, like Betty White was, can hold that pretty strong and massage in between the ribs, intercostal muscles. And you can massage right up against your sternum too. Okay, so the sternum is this bone here, and this is your clavicle. But you can massage right up against the sternum in between the ribs. And those are neurolymphatic points, as described in the Touch for Health book. And you don't have to really know everything, all the technical aspects about these points. But if you massage those, if you massage in between your ribs with your fingers or with a tool like this just makes it so that you've got more strength because you can use your whole arm to just get jiggy with it and massage knots and tension. And out towards here, you've got a lot of these big lymph glands. Okay, so, and also if you sleep on your side, you'll see that your pecs get really tight in that area right there because your shoulders get scrunched in. And so you'll see that a massage tool like this, you can really use this to dig that easy. So if you eat really healthy, yeah, good old Betty. So if you eat really healthy, you will see that your skin over years and years gets better and better. Now, on an opposite note, my father, as he got older, because he was an alcoholic, because he wasn't eating healthy, he was just eating regular foods. I mean, my dad, he probably tried to eat vegetables, with meals and stuff, but he was still eating mass-produced meat, and that just clogs your skin because all of that chicken skin, that's not how a chicken is supposed to be, like all that fatty skin. After you raise chickens like I raised them, you'll see that the skin in a normal wild and homegrown range-free chicken, it doesn't look like that at all. It's really thin, it's bright yellow, it doesn't have hardly any fat in it at all. And when you eat chicken like that, well, like I'm sure my dad was, it clogs your own skin, all that fat. And so my dad was getting psoriasis. He had psoriasis for quite a while. If psoriasis is a sign of a bad liver, I've heard, and I believe it because my dad drank like a fish every night at the bar. And then he started getting all these big, nasty red patches on his skin. Now, okay, so by the time my dad was 56, his arm skin was starting to look pretty bad. It was peeling, it was flaking, it was getting red. Look at my skin. Look at my arm skin. Okay, those wrinkles are going away. And look at the color of it. Look at the back of my hand. That's looking better and better. And those, crap. And my knuckles are looking, they're peeling right now. See the peeling? But that's getting better. And he was getting what he called, he described it to me as thin skin. It's funny that I think about that because yesterday one of my viewers said that I was thin-skinned for blocking people, for criticizing me on my videos, etc. And so what did I do? I blocked her. I blocked her. And perhaps I am thin-skinned. Perhaps I am sensitive. But if you look at where I've been and what I've gone through with this life and all the healing that I've done, I'm kind of like, my excuse is that I just really don't want to put up with crap from people, you know? And so if you're somebody that made a comment or something, like I was looking at the numbers of people that I've blocked, it's over 400. I thought it was probably more like 1,000. But I think it's about 450 people I've blocked in 13 years. And over 13 years, I mean, with all the numbers of people, I'd have thought it was more. But in any case, Carolina, Carolina got added to that list the other day. And I just found it really obnoxious that she said that she watches all my videos. She's bought a couple of things like these, a couple of little things from me. And I wanted to say that if people buy products from me and if they think that they're a valued viewer and stuff, like they often think that they have some kind of a privilege to say some crap, you know? And the truth of the matter is that some people have a degree of privilege, like Joe Serrano there. Joe could probably say quite a few things before I'd actually block him. My friend my friend Rochelle, if you see her on there, she'd have to say quite a few things before I'd actually block her. But Carolina, nah, just one thing and that's good, and she's gone. It just depends on what my attitude and what they say and this and that. But really, I don't feel as though I owe people. There are people out there that have been really good to me, and I appreciate them, and they should appreciate me as well. I now have 2,260 some odd videos of where I share things like this, all kinds of knowledge about cleansing and healing and just God knows how many things that I've learned about thin skin and your liver and herbs and stuff. And things that nobody else would share with you. And I just feel as though people should really be appreciative of my videos and the time that I spend doing this. I have a lot of 12th house energy, and this is not really a very prosperous thing in astrology. The 12th house is a house of isolation. And it seems to me that this is really kind of my destiny. That I sit in a room like a jail, prison cell. And this is what I do to pass my time. This is my social life, talking to this camera and reading the comments. And it's not always fun, the job that I do. And I'm a Cancer, and that coincides perfectly with being a person in a shell. That's what the crab does. The crab stays in their shell. They're afraid to go out into the world. They're afraid to come out and have a relationship. They're afraid to do this and they're afraid to do that. But I've gotten past a lot of my fears, And at least I do these videos to try and help people, even though I hate them a lot. And so I feel that a lot of people should be really appreciative of what I do here. And they are. A lot of people really are. And I appreciate them back. But I'll only go so far, to take effed up comments from people. I'll only just go so far. I'm just not going to put up with much at all, especially if it's somebody like somebody the other day made a comment. I don't comment very often, but I'd really like to say, and I've seen that so many times that like people will not say anything and not say anything. They won't give me any praise, nothing for a long time. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they make a comment. Most people don't make comments, and that's okay. I have a very good friend, my friend Shay. She doesn't like to comment. Some people, I think, don't have a Gmail account, and so they can't comment. That's fine too. But people shouldn't expect privilege and stuff if they don't make comments. I mean, I'm a person that makes I'm a participator, okay? I love participators, especially good ones. If a person has something of logic and constructive criticism to make, and they go ahead and make a comment like that, then I won't block them, even if it's against me. Even if it's against what I really think and feel, if it's constructive and legit, I won't block them. That would be unethical. I'm not unethical. But I need some water. I'm dehydrated. But going back to the theme of this video, I really encourage you to be genuine. And if you watch the video, in the link in the description box down below, which is what this video started out to be about, it's about women and their makeup and how they can look amazingly more attractive with makeup and then not without it. Okay, so for you guys, you should know that you don't have to be pissed off about that like the guy in that video, because there are disadvantages to that, being disingenuine. There are disadvantages to that. And see, you don't really, women, I think they crave deep relationships. They crave that. And everyone's different, but for me, the only time that I think that I bought into the whole thing when I was young. But the more I thought about it and the more I watched my parents go through different relationships, my dad went through 4 marriages. My mom went through 2 marriages. And then I'd see other people go through their different relationships of varying degrees. And I came to this conclusion that there were all these different reasons why people would get married or people would shack up, etc., financial reasons and stuff like that. But the women generally engaged, they're the ones usually that wanted a deeper commitment. So why would they want that? Emotional reasons, because women are a lot more emotional than us guys. Security reasons, they know a woman wants a nice, big, strong guy living with her to protect her and various things, and that's understandable. And so they'll try and attract a guy with makeup, one of the things, but it's not just that. There's this big competition thing that they have, you know. They're trying to look good. They want to look good to other women too. And we all know these things are true. but we also know that there's something inherently wrong with it, right? There's something inherently wrong with not being who you really are. And, you know, on the opposite end, if you can look good and just be plain Jane, no pun intended, plain Jane, like Jane from the Gorilla Woman, she's never wears any makeup. I've never seen her with any makeup, any ever. She's a naturalist. So that's one of the things that this channel is all about because I learned that what I wanted to be a long time ago really essentially was a naturalist. And of course, I've got my techno things. I've got my air cleaner there, and I've got my computer, and I've got my little speakers. Check out these speakers. These are about the coolest thing. If your speakers go bad with your computer, and you can just this thing has its own power source. It's got a USB 2 port that a plug that plugs into your computer for the power, and then it's got the other thing for the mic part. And then this one's got two speakers, and this one has a volume control. And I'm telling you, as annoying as Amazon can be, that rating system, man, it's just so damn good. But but yeah, it's not just looking fake, but women are putting chemicals on their faces that are probably somewhat toxic. They're probably mostly safe because they have to be, and that's probably controlled fairly well, especially if you buy it at a health food store. Okay, so I'm not totally against makeup. I'm just saying that the way that most women wear it, which is every day, and this guy talks about it in the video. He's like, my woman, she'd get up and she'd go straight from the bed right to the bathroom to put on and immediately start putting on makeup. And so it's just out of control. And so it's not just a competition with women or a means of getting men to be attracted to you, but there's also some kind of a psychological thing. And I've learned this from different things in the past. And I can't remember exactly what they were, but I learned that women had to have makeup on, and it was like an addiction. And I'm not kidding you in any sense of that word. I learned that them having to have makeup was a psychological addiction in their minds. And the that I've learned because I've gotten off of so many things, wheat and dairy and cigarettes and alcohol, all these different things, caffeine, every single time that I got off of those things, there was also always a withdrawal. There was always withdrawal symptoms. And so I assume that if you took a woman that was really like, I have this friend, she always wears a lot of makeup. Her name is Carolyn, and also Carolyn, just like the other one that made the rude comment yesterday. But her name is Carolyn, and she's a very shiny person. That's a hint for her. But she's pretty. She's pretty, and she knows it, but she wouldn't be as pretty without all that makeup. And if you were to say to her, okay, this is it. You're going on a desert island for the next month with no makeup, and you can't wear it going there. You cannot put it on while you're there. You're going to be completely without it. That would be an extreme example. Or like what actually that wouldn't be an extreme example because there wouldn't be anybody there, and so she might not feel so self-conscious about it. She may not she it might be a lot easier for her to go to a place that was just isolated. But what if there were people around? What if she were forced to be around people with no makeup? What would happen? I'm telling you, it might be really, really difficult for her. Mora says, I've never worn makeup throughout my life. Many people think that made me strange. I love Mora. I've talked with her briefly, but the reception wasn't really good on Skype. We should try something else like Zoom. We should try Zoom or maybe Facebook Messenger, Mora. Mora, you're up early. You're an early girl, aren't you? Mora's in the UK. So Jennifer says, Mom would wear makeup to bed. That I cannot do. Oh, oh, that's good. That's good, Jennifer. Jennifer, from your little tiny picture that I've seen, and of course, it's a lot bigger than the chat box when you see it in a regular comment, but from the picture that I've seen of you, you look like you'd probably be somewhat attractive without makeup. So, but I don't know. I think some women that don't wear makeup, they just say "F it." I'm not, it's just worthless. I'm not going to be attractive with or without makeup. If people would work on if these skin brushes are really good. For me, I'll tell you what. I've told you in a video. I have a video out entitled "The Sexiest Part of the Body." I think that's what it's entitled. And the thing that I think is the sexiest, I mean, a woman for me doesn't necessarily need to have the best looking face. A pretty face is wonderful, and it shows you the condition and health of the body. This right here, and it shows you the genetics. And so these are the things that you're attracted to, because we naturally we want to touch, we want to feel, we want to reproduce. I mean, one of the things that I think is inherently and instinctively in us is to find a mate that's really healthy so that we can reproduce a human, you know. But mentally, we can overcome that by logically looking at the situation of our own lives. And I mean, taking on a child is such a huge burden on a person, financially and time and mentally and emotionally. I mean, kids could drive you nuts, especially if you don't spend a lot of time with them. I mean, I do a lot better with having a kid than most people, and I don't even want to have one. The reason that I would do a lot better is because I'm self-employed and I could stay home and have my kid and I could even homeschool them and it'd be just like Chakra. She was an absolute angel dog because I was with her all the time and she was perfectly well behaved. Unlike the person that goes off to work and leaves their dog all day, and that dog is looking out the window all day long. Where's my dad? And hey, I should be outside sniffing the bushes and chasing squirrels and having fun. And the person that leaves their dog in the house all day long, and then they don't play with them at night or anything. Well, it's the same with kids. They become misbehaved. Okay, so in my opinion, 90% of the people that have kids out there have absolutely no business having them at all, ever. And they're just doing that because that's what you do, right? I've got this penis, I've got this vagina, I've got these parents that are expecting me to make grandchildren for them, all these different reasons that are societal reasons, mental reasons, All these different things that people are thinking that are a good excuse. They're a good excuse for them to make babies, and then they go ahead and make one, and then they're in up to their freaking necks. But I'm just so all over the place tonight. I gotta drink some more water. I need to get a new calendar. Luckily, this little one that I have is like from the middle of last year through the middle of this year. But the big one that I have in the living room, expired. But so as an example, like with the makeup, if a woman is not thinking in terms of needing to find a man so that she can make a baby, so that she can stay home and take care of the baby because he's going to go out and create the income, right? Isn't that the basis for kind of the basis for how that works? So if she's not thinking in terms of making babies because she's thinking in terms of her own life, you know, and if men aren't thinking in terms of getting laid, you know, or finding a woman for house cleaning or cooking or sex or whatever, you know, if people are thinking in terms of health, which is your number one thing in life, and if you're working on your health with for hours a day, like I do in the evenings and the morning sometimes, and during the day or in the middle of the night, I work on my health a lot, making videos at night. If you're working on things that are of a higher priority, and yes, there are things that are of a higher priority than getting married and making babies and all of those things, believe it or not, then you don't necessarily have to wear makeup because you're just home. There's nobody else around anyway. You've got your own little place. There's nobody here to look at me except for you, right? So am I worried about how good I look? Sort of, but not really. I'll comb my hair. It's not to the point of where I have to put synthetic yada yada on my face. And you just get used to that and you're not worried about all of those other things. And so that's why I'm so excited, sort of, about the you know what, because the you know what is bringing back people back to reality. And if they're just in their rooms, if they're just at home, if they're working at home now, okay, so think about people, it's been in the news big time lately about how people are quitting their jobs. If you've watched the news lately, then you've seen how people have quit their low wage jobs. They found something where they can work at home. A lot, thousands, probably millions of people are now working at home, whereas 2 years ago they weren't. And so um, that's a good thing. And when you're at home, you don't really have to wear makeup, girls. You can just stay home. You don't even have to get out of your jams. You can still wear your t-shirt and your hoodie. You can wear your hoodie at home. You can go to the store like I do in just wearing this, pajamas. If it's not too cold, you may have to throw on a big jacket, but you don't got to put on any makeup and you don't have to wear any high heels like you used to wear. When you would go to work, you would wear all kinds of things to try and impress the boss and try and attract men and trying to make other women jealous and blah 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 blah. But you don't have to do that anymore because you're just staying at home. My neighbor 2 doors down, she just stays at home now. And so, yeah. But I have to be a little bit more quiet because my neighbor the other day pounded on my door at midnight and said, "Turn your music down." She's such a and she would have to wear like 40 pounds of makeup. This woman that lives next door to me that is a serious, she would have to wear 40 pounds of makeup and spend hours a day to look half decent. She is just a nasty looking thing. So I have to, it's starting to get late. It's 11:38 Eastern. So I have to be a little bit more quiet. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys are having a good new year. And yeah, check out the video. Let's see what Jennifer says. Maybe someday Joe I can pull off what your aunt did. I think I just find the face powder covers under eye bags. I don't know what that means, Jennifer. Oh man, Brett, you crack me up. So today I saw this really funny. I don't know if I can. I better not show it because it might be on YouTube. So you can't. Um, right now I have one strike on my account, and so I have to be really careful about not getting another one. The first one will go off of my account in about 7 weeks, and that will be a good time. And speaking of that, I was thinking to myself how nice it'll be when the spring comes back around and it starts getting warm in March. And yeah, it'll be really good. Brett, what do you think of social media influencers? Like me? I think that everyone's different. I think that, yeah, yeah, it's true that us social media influencers can be very influential on certain people that don't have enough scrutiny to be able to make decisions on their own. And so there is a degree of truth in that, I mean, and all of us are influenced by people to one degree or another. But we have to be able to know what's true and what's not, who's legit and who's just trying to pull the wool over our eyes like Donald Trump was. And it's amazing to me that so many people could just not see through his mm, unacceptable behavior, you know. Even though, so, okay, so I'll step back here a little bit and tell you that for years and years and years, with my relatively conservative attitude, I have a lot of the same ideas and opinions that a lot of right-wing people do, in at least to a degree, like about welfare, like about just like my father. I agree with a lot of the things that my father believed in, even though I was never a Rush Limbaugh listener. Like every day he would be listening to Rush Limbaugh. Like as I grew older, I, I I became aware that these people were extremists. And I just really think that one of the most important things that people need to develop is an ability to be scrutinizing and have good intuition about things and the truth and people that are full of it. Okay. And when people become vulnerable because the government is spending, when people become angry, when they get annoyed and irritable because they hear stories about how the government is buying pencils for $50 a piece with their tax dollars, or how they're wasting money on these insane projects, or giving millions of dollars to people in certain countries that don't really deserve that money, or they're letting the immigrants just flow right over the border, or they're giving them benefits, all these different things, and then those people are poor. then you'll get a lot of bad feelings. Okay, so we should talk about this a little bit because we're just about to hit that day, January the 6th, that day that of the insurgency, okay, of all of those people that I'm talking about now, those people on the right that work hard. Okay, so these are typically people that are not on welfare. These are people that are like welders, farmers, people that work hard for a living, and their thinking is that those damn people in the city, those black people, those lazy Mexicans, whatever, all kinds of things that they're thinking. And they're very angry about that because they're feeling as though it's unfair. It's unfair. And they're mad at politicians. And they've been screaming at politicians for years and years and years. I feel much the same way in a lot of those regards about things as those people. And 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 so it comes to a boiling point. And what happens? Somebody comes along like Donald Trump that promises this and that and screams about a lot of the things that they were thinking about for years and years, decades and decades. People were bitching about politicians and all kinds of things. And so what do? They stormed the Capitol and they let it be known that, and people watched them on TV a year ago. And a lot of people were cheering them on, I guarantee it. And so even though you've got this person that came along that was obviously just completely dishonest, I knew he was dishonest long before he became president. I would see him on his television program or on this and that. I knew what he represented. I knew he represented buying real estate. Sorry for those of you that are real estate agents, etc. But that's such a money greedy greed. It's one of the worst things in our country, the real estate business. And the it's like the winners, you got winners and losers. And then there are some people in the middle there. But if you're a renter, you're a loser. If you're an investor, you're a winner generally, unless you're just a bad investor that really sucks. But but that's what he represented, and whenever he'd get in trouble, he'd just cheat or file bankruptcy or whatever, He's got the money to pay people to be able to manipulate things, lawyers and accountants and this and that. And so that's what he does. He's a manipulator, you know, and he's a verbal. He is such a verbal manipulator. And he's conned millions and millions and millions of people. And he did that because he saw and he probably genuinely felt the things that they felt. We need to protect our country. And that's legit to a degree. But it's only legit to a degree. And when you become this person that's fake, this person that's just a liar, half the things he said, this channel you're watching is all about truth as much as I can deal it out. And I'll tell you the truth about me too. I have my weaknesses. And maybe I shouldn't block so many people. Maybe I shouldn't block so many people. Maybe I should just take it. I probably will eventually. But I like to interact with a lot of people just don't read the comments. People that have big channels, there's no way they can actually read many of the comments. I don't know that there are advantages and disadvantages to having a lot of views. I used to make $1,500 to $1,800 a month. Usually I averaged about $1,700 to $1,800 a month every single month for about 4 years. And that was good money, but I had a lot of crappy comments as well. And so things change and evolve, and I'm just trying to kind of elaborate on the things that are going through my mind tonight and quantify them, relate them to the fakeness, to the fakeness of makeup. And the disingenuineness of what you're going to see a lot of people representing tomorrow with the insurgency, you know. And that there's a degree of disingenuineness on the leftist liberal side as well. Okay, so don't think that I'm just on their side, because I'm conservative for the I'm kind of liberal sometimes. I'm mostly pretty conservative though. But I'll tell you, just as a precursor to 2024, that if Joe Biden is still alive and he's running for president again, and Donald Trump runs for president, I'll be forced to vote for Biden. As much as I am annoyed with him for all of his bloated yada yada, I'll still probably vote for him just to keep Donald Trump out of office. And that's just such an example. That is such an example of the weirdness of the world we live in right now. I mean, imagine that. Voting for somebody just to spite somebody and keep them out of office. So weird. So obscure. What's another word for it? It's just an oddity. Met an American lady here on YouTube years ago. This real estate selling buying is a scam. Truthfully, she told me real estate prices are too high at most over time only should go up 1%. Uh, yeah, I just don't want to spend my life, spend my time engaged in much of that stuff. I don't find that it's so very superficial. See, when you've been through as much cleansing and healing as I have, you have to really pick and choose your battles, not battles, but like what are you going to invest in? What are you going to spend your time doing? And yeah, anything that's just very materialistic like that, I just really don't want to be engaged in it very much. But I want to thank everybody for joining me. I am just about done. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer, I'd like to see you. Send me a picture of yourself with no makeup. I want to see how cute you are. Brett at brettsnaturalhealth.com. And thanks everybody for joining me. I hope that you have a nice day tomorrow. I want you to be aware also of the energy of our world right now. It's very, very extreme with all the bloated yada yada going on, the you know what. It's all very extreme right now. And it's because of the media, it's because of people being really sick, it's because of January 6th being tomorrow. There is a lot of tension in the air right now. And so take care of yourself, okay? Spend time taking care of yourself and breathe a lot. Go outside occasionally and breathe some pure, clean air at night. If your skies are clear, look up at the sky and recognize the beauty of the universe. So amazing. And think about all of the good things in your life, like little speakers or like massage tools or like skin brushes. See, the more you stimulate and brush those wrinkles, the more it creates new skin there. Thanks, Joe and Jennifer and everybody else. Have a great night.